We're here with another exciting scaling brokerage podcast. Today we have a special guest. She is here to give insight on growing and managing a thriving broker business. So let's give Lorrie a warm welcome. Lorrie, go ahead and introduce yourself, your brokerage, and how long you've been a broker owner.
I am Lorrie Kennedy. I'm the broker owner of Classic Realty and Classic Property Management Company. And I took over Classic Realty in 2017 or 2018, somewhere around there.
Okay. And what made you want to become a broker owner?
Well, that's a whole story.
Okay.
I had not really looked at becoming a broker. I was with Classic Realty. I've been with this company since 2010, and when the broker, I guess, was ready to step back, he just reached out to me and said, "Hey, have you ever considered, and would you consider?" So I ended up purchasing Classic Realty from him. And that's kind of how it just literally landed in my lap, Becoming a realtor was very much the same way for me. I was a real estate law paralegal. And whenever the attorney I was working for retired, he told me I should actually get my real estate license, that was my true calling. So it just really landed in my lap, and I didn't want to see Classic Realty go away because there were so many things about Classic Realty that I loved. In the approach in teaching agents to be independent and not to be dependent on the broker, into teaching agents to excel in their own niche. And not be followers, really, just teaching agents to be leaders and empowering them in their communities. And I didn't want to see any of that go away. So I stepped up and I took over and took the reins, and the rest, as they say, is history. It's been a very enjoyable ride. I told 100 people, I did not realize how much I was going to enjoy being a broker. I really didn't until this opportunity was given to me. Did not realize how much I would enjoy. I should have done it a long time ago. I didn't know it was this much fun.
Okay, awesome. So I'm sure there's been some bumps in the road along the way. What's been your biggest hurdle about being a broker owner?
Recruiting. Recruiting. I think recruiting is any broker's biggest hurdle. I would absolutely. In the beginning, I had all of the systems to put in place because we only had 12 agents and everything was done manually. So in order for me to scale the business, we had to get systems in place. So initially, there was a lot of time spent getting our policies and procedures in place, because we didn't even have those. And getting the systems in place so that we could scale into become a larger brokerage. So,
and how many agents do you have now?
We have just under 40 agents in 5 different locations.
Nice. Okay. And you manage all 5 locations?
I do. I have some amazing managers in those, directors in those locations, and I have an absolute, it's a matter of hiring the right support people. And I've got an amazing compliance manager that helps me make sure that we're on track for compliance, and so that it gives me time to recruit and maintain relationships with the agents that we currently have. I've really focused a lot on establishing and maintaining really great relationships with the agents we have, because when I look around at other brokers, I see recruit, but they're ignoring who they have at home. They're not loving on who they have at home, and they're always going out looking for new blood. I want to make sure that my agents at home know that I appreciate them and that I'm here for them and that I support them and their business while I recruit. And having a compliance manager handle those things does that for me. And then having a marketing manager here who is able to support my agents in their businesses, as well as support Classic Realty in our own growth and our own goals. It was a game changer hiring those two positions.
That's what a lot of people say, like getting the right people in place, but also having your like that one right-hand man or woman, whatever you want to call it, is essential for you to be able to scale your brokerage. You can't do it by yourself. You wear too many hats. And people that try, a lot of broker owners that don't have that fail.
Right.
Because they're trying to do everything. Instead of
you can't, you would burn out trying to do everything. And I have found, and you hear this quite often at the managerial level, hire slow. That has been so important for me to make sure that I hire the right person for the job. And for a long time, I did my own compliance.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of different people stepped in and attempted that, and they just weren't the right fit. I mean, when the right fit hits you, and just making sure that you get your systems in place. Once again, for staff people to be in place, you have to have the right systems so that if something happens to that staff person, somebody else can step in to their position and easily take over. And I think having, again, it comes down to systems, right? It comes down to systems. So
it's about having the right bullpen. It's like kind of like sports. It's like baseball. You got to have the right bullpen, because if the person, I hate to use this analogy, but this is what's always been used with me. If the person's crossing the street and gets hit by the car tomorrow, you can have someone to replace them.
We need to have someone else. That's correct. We need to have somebody else be able to come in and carry the ball and never miss a step.
Next person up, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So what have you done successful in recruiting?
Develop relationships. Really, that has been the biggest thing. I think developing those relationships and being willing to support and maintain that support to keep those agents that are recruited. So when I'm talking to a potential recruit, I'm not coming at them with, this is what we can offer you. You have to come see us because we can offer this. That I'm not coming from that. I'm coming from, what are your goals? Is there a way that I can help you meet those goals? Are we even the right fit? Because if we're not the right fit, it is a waste of their time as well as mine, because I'm going to spend time supporting that person. And if they're not right for Classic Realty, then that was a waste of my time. Right. Yeah. So I come at it from, where are they in their business? Where do they want to see their business go? What is their next step? And for some people, their next step is slowing down. How can I support that? Right. Do they need to talk about having an assistant? Do they need to talk about making their business sellable so they can slow down? What is their next step? Or is their next step growing their business? And how can we do that? Right. So that it fits their vision of what they wanted their real estate to be.
Okay. So what do you think your biggest room for improvement for recruiting would be? Like your biggest area?
Consistency. That one's easy. Consistency. It is so easy as a broker to just really get bogged down with the minutia, right? I need to look at our numbers. I need to look at our systems. I need to meet with our agents. And, there's so many things that you can get bogged down running the business that sometimes sometimes recruiting can get pushed to the back burner. Or if I spend too much time on recruiting, what am I leaving behind on the business? So just finding the time management and maintaining the consistency, that's the juggle right there. That's the
Yep.
magic key, and that's the juggle.
Okay. So where do you see your business in the next 5 years?
My goal for this business is at least in the next 10 years, I want to replace myself.
Okay.
And be able to retire myself. Maybe not fully retire. I don't see myself wanting to fully retire in 10 years. I still feel like I have a lot of life left.
Mhm.
But being able to step back a little bit more and take a few more vacations. Gratefully, I love what I do so much that I don't feel like, oh, I need a vacation. I don't have that feeling. Because I feel like I'm on vacation every day I wake up. I'm enjoying myself.
Okay. So maybe a little bit better balance family work
Um,
in the next 10 years.
I have some travel goals that I want to meet. And so, I do want to see myself get to that position. I tell you what, the biggest thing, I guess, for me, I'm 55, and I am aware of the fact that there's going to come a day that I'm not going to have this much energy, and I'm not going to feel like doing this every day. And when that day comes, I want to be in a strong position and able to replace myself easily so that I can step back and retire and not have to be doing all of this, right? When I'm ready to slow down, I want to be able to slow down. Ultimately, that's the goal for me. And maybe that's 10 years, maybe that's 20 years, whatever that happens to be. So that's kind of the way it looks for me. Like, don't tie me down to a number.
Okay. So tell me, what's your number one place you want to travel to?
Italy.
Italy? Okay.
That was easy. That one has been on I want to see some castles, Italy, Germany, that whole European thing. I want to see the castles. I want to see buildings that are older than America. I want to see that, Egypt is kind of on my list because there's, literally buildings older than God.
Yeah. So my sister-in-law and brother-in-law were in the Air Force, and they were stationed over in Germany. So we did that whole loop.
Did you?
Yeah, those castles are a lot of stairs. You better be prepared to go upstairs.
So here's the thing. I recently told my mother about this dream of mine. She and I had gotten to talking, and she had asked me, what I wanted to see. And I mentioned that Germany, and I said, and she is the one that made me want to see Germany because she talks about those castles and going to visit the castles. My mother's response was, if I never see a castle another day in my life, it'll be too soon. She was 9 months pregnant with my sister when she was touring those castles and lugging along a 1.5-year-old. So I'm sure that was not fun for her. I told her, I said, I won't be pregnant and I won't have a 1-year-old. So I feel like I'm going to be okay.
Yeah,
but I do want to do it while I'm still have this much energy and I can climb all those stairs.
Yeah, my son was 18 months old when we took him over there. Oh, brutal. And we went over there. So I'm in Arizona. I'm an Arizona native, right? I get cold when it's under 70. I get off the plane in January. I have a pair of sweatpants on, a t-shirt, and like a hoodie. What happens to me? They let you off on the tarmac. What happens to me? I have tennis shoes on. Boom, slip, land on my butt. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a trip.
Yeah.
So
no kidding. My sister was born at the end of June, and it was still snowing in Germany. So, pack your parka, right? It's my goal. I want to see all of that. I want to do it while I still have the energy to climb the stairs. And I don't want to take an 18-month-old with me. Absolutely not. So,
sorry, we got a little sidetracked. I always get sidetracked on these. Somebody says something like the last guy I talked to, he does business in Playa del Carmen in Mexico.
Oh, beautiful. I've been there.
International. And my wife and I go there. We spend like 6 weeks there at a time. So, and we were just talking about different places. And I'm like, oh, sorry, we're supposed to be on a podcast.
You're good. You are good.
Okay, so last question. 3 things you would tell a new broker owner that's just starting off to do. What's the 3 pieces of advice you would give someone that's just starting out?
I would say really sit down and calculate how you want those commissions to be and what each agent is going to cost. Do that right out of the gate. I didn't get my CRB until 2 years ago. And one of the classes in there had us doing that. I wish I would have done that in the very beginning. It was very, very helpful to sit down and look at those costs.
Mhm.
So one, I know it helps be more selective as a small broker in what agents you'll accept. Right. So that is, I think, a very big part of it, because if you accept a lot of new agents right out of the gate, and they are not helping to support the brokerage, you're doing yourself a disservice, because then the broker's going to have to go produce in order to be able for the brokerage to be able to make it.
Mhm.
I think a lot of agents are not aware of overhead costs, and they think by sharing whatever split it is they share with their broker, that their broker is taking something from them. And that's on us as brokers for not sharing with
Mhm.
our agents. This is what it costs. Do you want a website or not? Because this is what it costs per agent. And if you can't produce that much, then clearly are not able to provide that for yourself. How much does a CRM cost? So I think by breaking down the numbers, I have been very, very blessed with having agents who value my time and who also value my support. And they don't have, I rarely ever have to haggle with them about their splits, because
Mhm.
I've made myself valuable enough to them. But again, had I sat down and looked at the cost per agent right out of the gate, some of the decisions that I made about agents in the very beginning would have probably been different.
Okay.
And there's a certain level of, it's almost an instinct, because I don't mind taking a new agent if I see their motivation. If I don't see motivation, or I don't get that instinctive gut feeling that
Mhm.
this is going to be a fireball, then I've gotten to the point now, 5 years in, that I don't, because I know the amount of time that new agents take, and they have to be able to, I can only help you as much as you're willing to help yourself.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. So I have, just gotten to the point, I'm not looking for a heartbeat. I'm looking for someone who, because I'm a small brokerage, there's plenty of other large brokerages that will take any old heartbeat. And I'm not a large brokerage, and I cannot compete with the large brokerages. You get much better attention in a small brokerage. Do you want to be the child of a parent with a dozen children, or the child of a parent with 1 or 2? Quick
Right.
question, right?
Yeah. It's a no-brainer. So yeah, that's a very good one. First person to bring that one. I've heard this week has been crazy. I've heard so much new stuff. It's awesome. See, this is what these are for, because we want new broker owners that are in situations like you, just starting out, that don't know, what to do or where to turn to do, this, that, or the other thing. This is great for everybody. Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I love taking new brokers under my wing. I have raised 3 new brokers, who were agents who simply had their license held under me and started a team, and then ended up getting their broker's license. And I just held their hand and took them right through the whole thing for them to be successful.
Okay.
And I love doing that too.
That's great. That's awesome. I mean, I'm glad that you take your time out to do something like that for people. I mean, not nowadays, not everybody is like that. That's all I'll say. So,
I think we have to be more, as an industry, we have to be more collaborative and less competitive.
yeah. That's everybody tries to hold on to their trade secrets, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to give away a trade secret of mine.
There are no trade secrets. It's all been tried.
Yeah.
Um, people like to work with me because I'm one way. People like to work with the guy down the street because he's another way. And that's just the way it is. Some people are not going to get along with me and want to work with me. I'm not going to be rigid enough. I'm not going to be professional enough or something, right? There's going to be something where they want, all of this very rigid corporation type. I'm not the corporation type. If you're looking for a corporation type broker, that's not me. It's not me.
Yeah, no doubt.
But there are plenty that are like that, where those people would fit better. So, and I feel like clients are the same way.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. All right. This is your time to give I know you already sent me, but this is where I want you to give the shout out of your name, your company name, your Facebook, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, whatever you want to give out, go for it.
It's all Lorrie Kennedy. I am on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. You can also look up Classic Realty. I'm on there as well. My Facebook is Lorrie Kennedy, Texas Instructor Broker. Is my personal business page. And then, of course, we have the Classic Realty business page. Instructor and Texas Broker. Lorrie Kennedy, Instructor and Texas Broker. I'm being corrected. And this is the beauty of having a marketing manager.
Good job, marketing manager.
To make sure I'm on.
Way to correct your boss.
On cue.
Way to correct the person that pays your paychecks.
Well, I can't be everywhere and do everything. And I think that is the biggest piece. You have to recognize, I know some brokers that are very good at marketing. I'm not. Mm-hmm. I'm really good at paperwork, but I'm not very good at marketing, right? So you have to know what your weak spots are and fill that, quite frankly.
Everybody's got to know their limitations.
Yeah.
You got to know your role on the team, and what you're not good at, hopefully your neighbor can pick up for you.
Correct. And I am so very blessed. I have now I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that we have a property management company also, and I'm an instructor. And I have a database of people who still rely on me to be their agent, to be their realtor. And in order to accomplish all of that, I have to have an assistant in every area. Mm-hmm. I've got compliance and marketing on the Classic Realty side. I've got a property manager and maintenance tech on the property management side. I have a sales assistant for my own sales. Then my marketing manager also helps me with instructing. But I've got to have somebody that can help me keep all of my ducks in a row, because if not, those puppies will be swimming everywhere and not doing what they're supposed to do.
Oh, I forgot. I've just added this question. It's kind of, what's your favorite book?
Miracle Morning by Hal and Rod.
Man, that was quick. You didn't even think about that.
Oh, yes.
It's like you knew that question was coming.
Yeah. Miracle Morning by Hal and Rod. That book helps you to start your day well, so that your day is organized, but your week is organized, your year is organized, because you're starting out each day that way. And things fall into place when you start your day out with yourself. Miracle Morning. Easy.
Perfect.